With 64 Grand Slams and 24 singles, Margaret Court remains the most prolific winner of Grand Slam titles in history.
I feel when I won Wimbledon, it wasn't for me, it was for my nation. And that still brings tears to my eyes.
This video will soon be played to a packed arena, but what makes this ceremony different to Rod Laver's 50th anniversary is this.
Tennis Australia is facing a dilemma. What do they do with their crazy aunt? There's only one thing longer than the list of Margaret Court's tennis achievements. It's her list of offensive and homophobic statements.
Public outrage over Margaret Court's comments leaving Tennis Australia with a dilemma: how to recognise her achievements but not her controversial stance.
It doesn't work that way. You can't separate the person from her achievements. Look at me. If you recognise the fact I won 7 Grand Slams, guess what? Then you got to celebrate the fact that I had the loudest mouth in the history of the tennis tour.
The problem is Rod Laver was celebrated in spectacular fashion last year. His 50th anniversary set the precedent. Tonight's event has drawn the ire of other tennis greats.
I will not be attending. Yeah, I celebrate her tennis, I don't celebrate anything else.
But these fans disagree.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, so I think the focus should be on what she did when she was playing.
I think she's done a lot for tennis, and so I think it'd be good to celebrate what she's done.
I think it's fantastic. I love it when women tennis players are recognised.
I love the game and very proud of my nation, and I'm very thankful to be honoured tonight.
Margaret Court's 24 career majors remain the epitome of women's tennis, with Serena Williams still 1 slam behind her, leading to this call from John McEnroe.
Serena, do me a favour. Get 2 more Grand Slams this year and get to 25 so we could leave Margaret Court and her offensive views in the past where they both belong.
Game in the first set to Mrs. Court.
Carrie-Anne Greenbank, 9 News.
Sam, you just touched on there on Margaret Court because, of course, she is generating a bit of controversy. Last night she was honoured with her 1970 Grand Slam win. It was commemorated with a ceremony, but officials didn't allow her to speak after, as we know, she's previously made homophobic comments. I mean, this was a really hard one to get right, wasn't it, Sam?
Yeah, look, Conservatives will no doubt have a field day with the fact that she was silenced, but I think at the end of the day, you know, her sporting achievements do deserve recognition. She does deserve to be acknowledged for that. But if she's going to use that as a platform to say things that are incredibly hurtful and destructive to parents and to families, you know, you can understand why people wouldn't want her to basically be given some sort of platform to preach. I think, you know, a lot of the things that she says have been incredibly ugly and incredibly destructive, but that doesn't mean that we should cancel out her sporting achievements or not acknowledge them.
Do you think she should have been allowed to speak last night, Brownie?
I think she should have. I think she should have been given the opportunity to talk about her role as a tennis player and how good she was, and whether she used that platform might have been the wrong time, but you still had to give her the opportunity to have her say. I mean, she's been a great champion. She's 77 years old, so I mean, it's hard to change people's views when they've had those views for that long. I think the new breed of young tennis players or young Australians coming through are a lot more open to what's changing in this world. And when Margaret Court, I think Tennis Australia had such a hard decision here, but I thought they made the right decision in saying that we're going to honour her, but we don't agree with anything she said so far. But the only thing they got wrong, I think she should have been able to say thank you, maybe thank you to people who helped her along the way. And if she made that about herself, then that was her problem.
Yeah, I mean, Sam, it was a tough one for them to get right, wasn't it? And I mean, like John McEnroe, he's been very open about this. He refers to her as our crazy aunt, saying there's only one thing longer than a list of Margaret Court's tennis achievements. It's a list of offensive and homophobic statements.
Well, he, of course, told Serena Williams that he was hoping that she would win a few more titles so she could basically, you know, condemn her to the dustbin of history. Look, I don't agree, though, with the idea that, you know, if she has something to say herself, that's on her. I don't think she should be silenced, but at the end of the day, these words have consequences. They are hurtful to people. It's not just about her.
Yeah, and what was good, most people did support her last night. I think there was a few people booing in the crowd, but overall...
Most people were respectful, weren't they?
Yeah, I think respectful of her achievements, even if they didn't agree with what she said.
Tennis legends John McEnroe and Martina Navratilova are in hot water this morning in some parts over their protest. The pair taking to Margaret Court Arena proclaiming the venue should be renamed in honour of Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley. OK, TJ, you're in Melbourne right now. What do you think?
Oh, well, I think it's pretty sad, actually. I mean, you know, there's a few things we need to get straight first, in that Margaret Court's comments and views are not the comments shared by a lot of Australians.
Yeah.
But we live in Australia. You're entitled to free speech, and that's exactly what the John McEnroes and the Martina Navratilovas have taken advantage of, the fact that here in Australia you can have free speech. But what I found disappointing is that we're talking about it now. We haven't spoken about Ash Barty in this segment, you know what I mean? So that was Ash's day yesterday, and unfortunately it was hijacked by that. And also, I think it's grossly unfair to drag Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley into the equation. I mean, she is an angel of Australian tennis. Why should she be dragged into the middle of this debate?
Well, you know, we asked her about this the other day, Ali and I, and she actually said she doesn't respect all of the views of Margaret Court, and that she does respect what she's done for the country and her achievements. That's what she says herself. Jess, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I think we've had this debate about renaming the Margaret Court, arena for so long. I think we should just probably strip all the names from the courts and call them A, B and C. It is actually something that causes a lot of distress for, the gay and lesbian community, that a woman is honoured in such a way who has such vehement, opinions against their way. Their lives, and that actually causes distress for people. And I think it is about time for Tennis Australia to take the name off the court, to sort of end this thing, which is obviously causing a lot of distress, including for, Navratilova. She was saying her wife said to her before she came to Australia, what are you going to do about it? This is, you're talking about it, you need to do something.
Shelley, her name is on the court for her tennis achievements. I mean, if it was wholly and solely based on her social views, then I would say, yeah, let's take her name off the stadium. She's there for her tennis achievements.
Yeah, but we've had a lot of wonderful tennis players in Australian history. We've chosen Margaret Court.
Not with a record like Margaret Court.
Yeah, but she's chosen to come out with views that are very much against mainstream Australian opinion and which cause hurt to people. So I think it's time.
Well, the other thing is the compromise could be that Yvonne gets her own tennis court named after it. I think that should definitely happen. She deserves that honour.
Well, she needs an honour, that's for sure, There's no doubt about that. But again, I don't share Margaret Court's views. I think they're cruel to a lot of people. Yeah, but
her record in the tennis community and in terms of tennis achievements is second to none.
Absolutely it is, and that's why she's got that court named after her, because of her tennis achievement.